Social media is absolutely on fire right now, and people are losing their minds because Charlie Kirk's family has finally taken the step everyone's been waiting for. Charlie Kirk's parents have filed a lawsuit against Erika Kirk in court, and now they're demanding full accountability. This isn't just some small family drama, but a legal battle that's about to shake the entire conservative influencer world to its core. For years, there have been whispers, secret conversations, and leaked private family texts, and now all of that has officially made its way to the courtroom. And this time, it's not just anonymous sources or random gossip floating around online. This is real legal action backed by Charlie's own blood relatives who say they've had enough of the lies, the manipulation, and the carefully crafted public image that Erika has been hiding behind since the day Charlie passed away.
One thing that's been interesting to me over the last week is that we haven't heard or seen anything from Charlie Kirk's family, meaning parents, siblings. I just read something that his parents are both non-political. They're both apolitical. His dad's an architect, his mom is a mental health counselor. He has a younger sister who is 2 years younger than him. Obviously, my heart goes out to the three of them. They lost a son and a brother in a horrific assassination murder.
The lawsuit centers around some explosive allegations that have been circulating for months, but were never officially confirmed until now. According to the legal filing, Charlie Kirk's parents are accusing Erika of deliberately spreading false information about their son, manipulating the narrative around his death, and using his tragic passing as a platform to seize control of everything he built. They claim that Erika has been lying to the public, to the media, and even to Charlie's closest friends and family about what really happened in those final months of his life. The parents are saying that the fairy tale marriage everyone thought they were watching was nothing more than a carefully scripted performance, and that Charlie himself may have realized it too late. What makes this lawsuit even more devastating is the evidence that's allegedly being presented. Those leaked text messages that Charlie's sister shared, the ones that went viral and had everyone talking, are reportedly going to be used as key evidence in this case. In those messages, Charlie allegedly told his sister that he didn't even feel like he knew Erika anymore. He complained that she had completely changed in the last year of their marriage, acting like she was the real boss at Turning Point USA and making major executive decisions without ever consulting him. He felt sidelined in his own organization, pushed out by the very woman who was supposed to be his partner, and now his parents are saying that those texts prove Erika was never there for love. She was there for power. The timing of this lawsuit is also raising a lot of eyebrows. It comes just weeks after more disturbing details started emerging about Erika's rapid rise to CEO of Turning Point USA immediately following Charlie's death. People inside the organization have been whispering for months that something didn't feel right about how quickly Erika took over. She wasn't grieving like a widow. She was operating like someone who had been preparing for this moment all along. Staffers have come forward anonymously saying that in the months leading up to Charlie's passing, Erika was already acting like the CEO, giving orders, restructuring teams, and making decisions that should have gone through Charlie first. It was as if she knew her time was coming, and she was just waiting for the right moment to step into the spotlight. But the accusations go even deeper than just a power grab. There are now serious questions being raised about Erika's connections, her family background, and whether or not she was planted in Charlie's life by outside forces who wanted control over Turning Point USA. This is where things get really dark. Some people are saying that Erika's job, her first meeting with Charlie, and even their entire marriage were all part of a long-term operation designed to infiltrate and take over one of the most influential conservative movements in America. And if that sounds like a conspiracy theory, well, Charlie's parents apparently don't think so. Their lawsuit is built on the belief that Erika was never who she claimed to be, and that Charlie was manipulated by someone with ties far more dangerous than anyone realized. The honey trap theory has been spreading like wildfire ever since those leaked texts came out, and now with this lawsuit, it's gaining even more credibility. People are pointing to Erika's mysterious family background, her mother's alleged connections to defense contractors and Homeland Security, and the strange circumstances surrounding how she and Charlie first met. It's all starting to look less like destiny and more like a carefully coordinated plan, and Charlie's parents want answers. They want to know who Erika really is, who she was working for, and what her real agenda was from the very beginning. They're demanding accountability not just for themselves, but for Charlie's legacy, for Turning Point USA, and for everyone who believed in the mission that Charlie spent his entire life building. This lawsuit isn't going to be quiet. It's going to be messy, public, and full of revelations that could change everything we thought we knew about Charlie Kirk's life and death. Because if even half of what his parents are alleging turns out to be true, then the entire story we've been told was a lie. The deeper you dig into this case, the more unsettling it becomes, because what started as a simple love story between Charlie Kirk and Erika is now being re-examined as something far more calculated and sinister. People are going back through old interviews, social media posts, and public appearances trying to find clues they might have missed the first time around. And what they're finding is making a lot of folks extremely uncomfortable. That first meeting at Bill's Burgers in New York City, the one that Erika always described as a casual business interview that turned into a romantic dinner, is now being questioned by everyone who's paying attention. Because when you really think about it, nothing about that meeting makes sense. Erika had no background in politics, no experience in communications, and no visible connections to the conservative movement. So how did she even get invited to meet one of the most high-profile figures in American conservatism? Who set that up? And why would Charlie Kirk, a man surrounded by handlers, publicists, and security, agree to sit down for 3 hours with someone who had no resume in his field? That's the question that keeps coming up over and over again, and it's the one that Charlie's parents are reportedly focusing on in their lawsuit. They want to know who introduced Erika to their son. They want to see emails, text messages, and any records that show how that dinner was arranged. Because if it turns out that Erika was introduced to Charlie by someone with ties to the same donors who were allegedly pressuring him to step down from Turning Point USA, then that changes everything. It means the meeting wasn't random at all. It was the first move in a long-term operation designed to get someone close to Charlie, someone who could influence him, control him, and eventually replace him.
And then there's the Israel story, the one that Erika mentioned in passing during an interview that most people didn't think twice about at the time.
She said she saw Charlie at the Tel Aviv airport while traveling with her mother on a religious pilgrimage, and that she thought he looked familiar but didn't know who he was. Then, just days later, back in the United States, a mutual friend whose name has never been revealed suddenly introduced them at that dinner in New York. That level of coincidence is hard to believe under normal circumstances, but when you add in the context of Erika's family background, it becomes almost impossible to accept as pure chance. Her mother, Lori, was allegedly running defense and intelligence-related companies at the time, companies that were doing work for the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Defense. So was that trip to Israel really just a pilgrimage? Or was it something else entirely? Was Erika being positioned to cross paths with Charlie in a way that would seem natural and innocent? These are the kinds of questions that Charlie's parents are now demanding answers to, and they're not backing down. They've reportedly hired a team of investigators and legal experts who specialize in cases involving infiltration, manipulation, and corporate takeovers. They're treating this like a criminal investigation, not just a civil lawsuit, because they believe that what happened to their son goes far beyond a bad marriage. They think he was targeted, manipulated, and possibly even set up by people who wanted control over the platform he built. And Erika, in their view, was the perfect tool to make that happen. She was young, attractive, well-spoken, and came with a family background that gave her access to the kind of networks that most people never even hear about. She had the perfect cover story, and she knew exactly how to play the role. But here's where it gets even more chilling. According to the whistleblower who came forward from inside Turning Point USA, Erika's behavior in the final months before Charlie's death wasn't just strange, it was strategic. She started showing up at events with new people, faces that no one recognized, people who didn't mingle or network, but just watched and took notes. Staff members noticed that after Erika got involved in planning certain events, things would change. Guest lists would be altered. Volunteers who had been cleared for years would suddenly need new background checks. And internal communications would be rerouted through temporary systems that nobody could verify. It felt like the organization was being studied, monitored, and slowly taken over from the inside, and Erika was at the center of it all. One former employee described it as feeling like the walls were listening. They said nothing happened abruptly. It was all slow, methodical, like someone was testing the limits, studying reactions, and waiting for the perfect moment to make their move. And then Charlie died, and within days, Erika was announced as the new CEO. No transition period, no board vote, no public discussion. Just a sudden transfer of power to someone who, according to multiple insiders, had already been acting like she owned the place for months. What's driving Charlie Kirk's parents to take this legal battle public is not just grief or anger. It's the disturbing pattern of behavior they witnessed in the aftermath of their son's death. The way Erika handled the memorial service, the way she appeared in public, and the decisions she made in those critical first weeks all pointed to something that didn't sit right with anyone who truly knew Charlie. His parents have been vocal in private circles about how uncomfortable they felt with the entire situation, and now they're ready to say it in court. They claim that Erika's behavior wasn't that of a grieving widow, but of someone who had been waiting for this moment to arrive. The smiles caught on camera during what should have been the most painful day of her life, the laughter at the memorial, the way she seemed more focused on the optics than the actual loss, all of it painted a picture that Charlie's family couldn't ignore any longer. Then there's the issue of the memorial itself, which was supposed to take place in Charlie's hometown in Illinois, where he grew up, where his family still lives, and where his roots run deep. But at the last minute, the entire event was moved to Arizona, the state where Erika's family is based and where her mother's defense contracting companies are headquartered. Charlie's parents and his sister didn't attend the Arizona memorial, and sources close to the family say it's because they were never comfortable with how the entire event was being orchestrated. They felt like they were being pushed out of their own son's farewell, like the narrative was being controlled by people who had their own agenda. The guest list was filled with people they didn't recognize. The speeches felt scripted, and the whole thing was filmed and produced like a corporate event rather than a summer goodbye to a beloved son and leader. But what's even more troubling are the rumors that have been circulating about what happened to Charlie's body in the hours and days after his death. There are whispers, unconfirmed but persistent, that suggest interference at the highest levels. Some insiders claim that J.D. Vance may have played a role in decisions regarding the handling of Charlie's body, and that there were unusual delays and changes in protocol that don't match standard procedures. One particularly dark rumor suggests that Charlie's body was quietly removed from Air Force Two before an official autopsy could be completed, raising questions about whether there was something that certain people didn't want discovered. None of this has been proven, and there are no official statements confirming any of these claims, but the silence from those involved is deafening. When families ask questions and get no answers, when procedures don't follow normal protocol, and when powerful figures seem to be involved in decisions that should be straightforward, it breeds suspicion and distrust. Charlie's parents are now demanding a full investigation into the circumstances surrounding their son's death, and they want transparency about who made what decisions and why. They believe that if Erika has nothing to hide, then she should have no problem answering their questions under oath. But so far, Erika has remained largely silent on the specifics, choosing instead to make public appearances that focus on her new role as CEO and her vision for the future of Turning Point USA. To Charlie's family, that silence is proof that something is being covered up. They see a woman who moved on far too quickly, who stepped into power far too easily, and who seems far too comfortable in a role that should have been filled with grief and hesitation. The lawsuit also raises broader questions about the forces at play behind the scenes in conservative media and political organizations. If what Charlie's parents are alleging is even partially true, then it means that one of the most influential voices in modern conservatism was potentially compromised by outside interests who wanted to control the message and the movement. It means that marriages can be arranged, people can be planted, and entire organizations can be taken over without anyone noticing until it's too late. This isn't just about Charlie and Erika anymore. It's about the integrity of the entire system and whether the people we trust to lead us are actually acting in our best interests or serving someone else's agenda. Right now, all eyes are on the courtroom, waiting to see what evidence will be presented and what revelations will come to light. Charlie Kirk's parents have made it clear that they're not interested in settling quietly or making this go away behind closed doors. They want the truth exposed, they want accountability demanded, and they want the world to know that their son deserved better than what he got. Whether this lawsuit will succeed in uncovering the full story remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, the facade that Erika Kirk has carefully maintained is starting to crack, and the questions that people have been afraid to ask out loud are now being asked in a court of law where answers can't be avoided forever.